Did you really?
Yeah.
I totally missed it. I was like, I totally missed that. I will follow up. They were supposed to be at the Oscar Film Festival at a roundtable, so I wanted to get a meeting with them to pitch the idea that I'm working on and where to do this about. But I got this new show. It's amazing. If you don't tell me to well, he's not a showrunner, but
you could watch, that you should watch, and that you should write for the assignment, which is due in 4 weeks on December 6th. Again, any non-American narrative, full-length feature, live action is eligible. And I really encourage you to go see the films that aren't necessarily going to get a release here. So all the big ones that are all going to get releases. So the gala screenings and all that. So you can see those afterwards. But the other ones may not ever get a release. So I really encourage. I'll send you a list of films. They asked me to moderate a panel of 4 foreign directors at the Roosevelt Hotel ballroom on Saturday afternoon, including 2 filmmakers who've already won the Academy Award, The Lives of Other director, Florian, and Son of Saul director. There's a lot of, I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of production going on. There's a lot of anxiety going on. The election is tomorrow. I can't think of a better movie to watch pre-election than But I'd just like to say, breathe. And just surrender to the film and to the filmmaker, and know that this is your time. This is your time in this sacred space. Okay, and we're so honored and so fortunate to have the filmmaker with us today. I promise I won't hog the Q&A. There's not a translator, so we'll have more time in the Q&A, but I will get to you sooner. I'm sorry that didn't happen last time. And I really want you guys to ask questions and identify so that we have more time for the response. So Donbas, I just want to say a couple things. Donbas was the opening night film at Cannes. Is known for original and different films, it was the opening night film, and it won the Best Director award in May. It was Ukraine. And he has a science background, science and mathematical background. I just want to give you this. We can ask him about it. Mathematics. He worked as a scientist at the Kiev Institute of Cybernetics, specializing in artificial intelligence research. And in 1997, he graduated from the Russian State Institute of Cinematography, VGIK, in Moscow, where he studied feature filmmaking. He's lived in Germany since 2001, but Ukraine, you'll see, is at the heart of all his films. In 2013, he launched the 6th. He's made 25 documentaries, short and features, and then including a documentary, Victory Day, which also played in Cannes this year. So he had 2 films, a documentary, and it played out of competition, and Donbas. And since then, he's completed. It doesn't seem to be available for us to see it, which I'm asking about it. But it played at Cannes the year before. So each of his 4 features played in competition at Cannes. She said there was a retrospective of his films in Brazil. She attended a screening there and said it was incredible. The library has his first feature, My Joy, for you to look with the Ukrainian, what's going on in Ukraine, as we'll see in today's film. Cinematographer, who's the cinematographer of 4 Months Release in 2 Days, also the producer of 4 Months Release in 2 Days, and known for the long takes and the documentary that we did not shoot. They had also had lots of long takes. So performance of credits that play over it. So I really It's an incredible shot. So I really ask your indulgence to stay for the entire film through the credits. About, and I suspect you'd say the same thing about tonight's film, DONBASS. Thank you very much.
И такие скучные. Сколько не вижу эти рожи, все время какие-то постные. Давай, Маш, еще сказано, семейки под глазами. А это что?
Everybody on the set.
Right there. Inspiring instruments.
This is my screenwriter and my producer.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
You tell them you're making your movie this weekend?
Yes, I am.
Did they give you any tips? Sergei?
No, not
Any advice for her? She's about to shoot, about to make her first movie here. Don't do it? Change careers? Get out?
No.
Director here at AFI.
I probably should not.
Should I not call you Allison?
I look like a director who's about to shoot, so I look awful.
I wish I looked this off.
No, it's nice. Yes. So we're just talking about Ukrainian cinema. Ukrainian things.
Ukrainian things.
Ukrainian.
Things I wouldn't understand.
Yes.
Survey, yeah. Okay, so we'll walk in. Well, so once it ends, they're going to give a 5-minute break. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Just we need a mic. Yeah, there's a mic. There's 2 chairs on stage, and there's a lav mic. So it just needs to pin it on it. Perfect. And that's it. And I'm going to take photos during it. Awesome. And we audio recording also. This is why we have. Great. I can send you the audio. Yeah, and I can send you the photos. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You guys screened last night. Where was it? Oh. And then what's next? AFS? What's the next screen? Oh, you go down these stairs and you'll see it.
Но вы планируете что-то снимать?
Make sure you get a photo.
Если вы не против, то вы Schwarz, can you take a photo of three of us?
Oh, I was looking to ask him. He's got enough. Oh, I'll use your phone.
Can you make me beautiful though?
I mean, not that I looks like a man.
Try.
Barry? Oh, did you just meet him? Oh, I missed it. I missed the moment. I missed the moment.
Я рассказывала, что я место съемки,
You just watched the movie. Now tell us about it.
The movie was amazing, and I was actually waiting for this moment for so long. So thanks AFI, thanks for everyone to let me finally watch this movie, and I'm so amazed. So thank you so much.
I'm so jealous, and I'm so jealous.
I'm gonna pass you some.
Where were you?
I was working on my script because I'm doing a cycle.
Она же в Фейсбуке. Да, я ей напишу сегодня. Я очень ее люблю. С ней, с Мариной.
You need to bring him in.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Help me out.
Да, спасибо большое.
Yeah, you did walk in.
Спасибо большое, Зикина.
Okay, sorry, I'm not going to block your shot. Sorry.
Okay. As soon as
We're lighting.
Come with me.
How to do that.
Sergei, can you sit here? Okay, don't walk. Get all handsy. I'll try you on hands. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
What?
You got there? Yeah. He's ready.
Okay.
But it's fun.
Please welcome to AFI, Sergei Loznitsa. Congratulations, and thank you very much for attending our World Cinema class, and thank you for your amazing film.
Thank you for invitation.
It's an honor to have you and extra. Every Monday night we watch a non-American film and talk about it, and it's a true honor to have a filmmaker. So I'll ask the first couple questions, and then I'll turn it over to you. So we just start with, are these all true stories that we just saw?
Yes, it's except the last episode of the shooting inside the track. It's all true stories. And some of them have on phone, some phone. And I just watched this, even the episode with Lynch, let's say. I just reduced the pauses and rewrite a little bit the crazy woman who shout. It started from that moment. I add beginning when the guys came, the old woman came to him and didn't recognize, didn't understand what kind of fascist is. This a little bit funny beginning, and after that the guys came and they just play with and try to understand what possible more, yes, and after that they start to beat. So this is beginning I add, but the end and everything, beginning, it was like in real life. In real life it was even harder It's stronger. Yeah. And people laugh, people staying around. You know. This is an episode from which I start to write script.
So
When I have seen that, I decide, okay, I just write that, make a like script, and read that. If I can imagine something, if it work in this way, because sometimes it doesn't work. So it did work, because I can make something bigger than it was in this documentary or in this footage. Yeah? And after that I start to add episode by episode, like shashlik. I know the brackets, beginning and end. I know very well that because I would like to start to talk about the position and role of media in this war, because it's huge. It's a kind of hybrid war. And I would like to end it with that, the destiny of the puppet who playing a role in evil, evil game. The destiny of that people is never good, you know? And it is in real life the old guys who was the leaders of the gang group, which take care about different territory in this occupied by Russians territory, unofficial or official, I don't know how to say, but the Russian hand in this territory. And all these leaders of this gang group, they already dead. You know, they was killed, explode, or something happened, and I'm sure that Ukrainian intelligence services are not such powerful to do that, and because they would like now, this is technology. First of all, gangsters. After that, you have to clean them and to provide or invite some more normal people with a this is a destiny of the soldier in the United States. You remember this film? More or less this direction. And in suitcase and house too, and white, and now it's a situation when they changed this representative people on the top, and they do it very well. So, but this from where this end of the film, and yeah, it's for me it's also very important to have this long take, and in the end to have this more or less show where the people who was there, who participate in this, the actors, they are not the actors, I mean the people like police and mediation and people from army. It was people who do this job.
Those are all non-actors.
Yeah, it's not like, but I invite because I would like to be very, correct with the action, and for them, they can explain me what they will do, but not me who explain them. And I just say, okay, do your job. This is 12 people killed, and what you will do. And they did their job. I just say, okay, fastly or less, and I have a director inside that who direct them. I mean the journalist. So more or less, and first episode also, I invited people from professional people. The episode with the trolleybus, the bus after explosion, this episode with dead bodies. So, and also I use and I invited for playing some role, I have 100 actors. 100 actors. So it's a person who have even one word like yes or no. And I invite for this position like 70 unprofessional, just local people, and they play on the same level as the professional actors.
Because some of I checked all the actors' names on IMDb, and I noticed a couple of them have been in your previous.
Yeah. I work more or less with the same team, with the people with whom I worked before. But this is professional actors. For example, the episode with Lamppost. How I use this professional and unprofessional. Professional actors, they are moderator. They have a lead role. The guy who moderates situation in red, I don't know what's that. He from Red Car. He is professional actor from Yekaterinburg. It's Ural. It's a great theater where they play. They are far from Moscow. Nobody invite them to Russian cinema or TV serial, and they are very good. You know, far it means 2 hours, but for Russia it's far. It's a mentality. It's a question of mentality.
And his friends in the car were also?
The friends, small guy in black with this pirate signature. He's also actor, professional, also from that theater. But the rest guys, 3 guys, they are unprofessional. You know, just the guys. And I rehearsed with all of them 2 months, not every day, but every second day, yes. Every second or third day we have a rehearsal of this episode, because it's a very complicated episode, and we shot it in 4 days. 4 days. I divide, because idea was ambition, make in 1 take. But it's very difficult because it's a stunt coordinator, and we beat guy, a lot of people around, and it's very difficult. And I would like to make a break between first and the second part of this episode. When the old lady came to other side, I would like to turn camera and show space. You know, just to have all this space.
So that was all worked out beforehand, exactly how you were going to do.
Yeah, we rehearse. We fix the how camera move and the position, and also I have this kind of timing for every act. You make that, after that you make that, and they just have to understand when they have to act. Yes, and what kind of, and you also have to keep like space, because everybody would like to cross in camera, you know. And this is not normal when they are staying not like in circle, but like half circle, because the camera. And we try to just to ignore camera, but it was after that you have a bad picture. You know, it's not good. It's the quality of that composition. It doesn't work. You know, and this is a limit which I found here. When I would like to pretend to be like a documentary filmmaker and make it in documentary way. From one side, from other side, when I use all tricks which documentary filmmakers using, I know what to do to draw composition, crossing and shaking, and somebody look to camera. It's work very well in some moment, and this view invite you inside. It's in mind, but it's like in you know, sometimes some painters use it when somebody looking from Botticelli use it. He looked to us from paint. And they attack a little bit. This one, and from other side, I start to miss the artistic value, artistic quality, and this is, contradiction in between the attempt to be a document, to use this documentary style, also to save artistic value. And what I miss when I made this film, because I can't do that, it was too late for me. Did it because I shot, and after that I thinking about it. Just to have one take, it's easy to have, like, we shoot, okay, these complicated episodes, like 13 takes. 13. 1, 3. It's maximum what you can do with actors. Because how I work, I just make one take. After that, we just look it and discuss what we change. And normally we fight with the time. Just make it more compressed, more intensive. Like what we can do to make it less longer, and what is not necessary to have. And also the position of different people and some mistakes, and after that we change that, make second. And after that change, make third. And finally, fifth, seventh take already super or good. And after that, I just would like to shoot with a cherry on the cake, something extra. Maybe it's possible. Maybe something will be super good. Normally it's 7-8, But if I have time, I just have passion, or people want, okay, let's go. So, yeah, where I was before?
Did you use the 13th take?
Huh?
Did you use the 13th?
Yeah. Sometimes, yes. The last take also, sometimes it's... But normally it's from 5 till if it's not such a complicated, like conversation between two guys when one guy proposed to other to leave the car and sign some paper and etc. Yes, these super good actors.
So those are both professional actors?
It's a professional actors. It's fantastic professional actors. One from Ukraine, one from Yekaterinburg, also from the same theater. The guy from Ukraine is you, yes, and he normally he play in this is a cabaret show, and he's a mask show, and they just perform humor and clown. He's a clown, yes, but he have potential, the very deep potential to be, because in his eyes. In one moment, you can read, because I would like to, not to shout, not to beat, not to just look, and we understand that it's no discussion yet. He will kill you, here, and no discussion. And he, from the good guy, transform his eyes from the, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, to the bad guy, and after that come back to the Santa Claus. Yes. Very good. And it was also how we made this episode, how I worked with a cameraman from Romania.
Yeah.
Is a great guy.
I want to ask you about him.
Yeah, Oleg Muto. He made Death of Mr. Lazarescu.
We're going to watch it.
He made the
4 months, 3 weeks, we're going to watch that. And you're not going to watch
Yeah, yeah. He's a great. And when I looking for in 2009, I'm looking before shooting already. Few months before shooting, I'm looking still for a cameraman because I would like to shoot in the way how was shot 4-3-2, and I didn't find because it is a very good Ukrainian cameraman, but I have a very strong script and it's tough script. And once he said, okay, Sergei, maybe not such a tough, maybe change them, maybe it's not necessary to kill them in the end, something like that. And this is with a little bit romantic idea inside the head. It's far from what I think cinema have to shake you. The beat, just you watch and it's just not nice, It's not nice to watch this film. It's other kind of pleasure, but not nice. So it's unpleasant. But this is how art, I think, work. Because the pleasant things you forget for tomorrow. So not all. Okay.
So you would see that's what Mr. Lazar has to do in 4 months, 3 weeks.
Yeah. And he, my assistant, she said, okay, Sergei, if you are looking this kind of the guy, maybe you ask him. Simple decision, which didn't come to my brain. Such a stupid, yes. And I brought him, and he Russian speaking, yes. He's from Moldova. And it's important to understand place which you shoot and where you shoot, because your small movement of your camera depends on the something which inside your body, and you have to understand where you are and what film about. I can't invite the brilliant, American cinematographer and to bring him to the Russian soup. This is difficult because people are very open, and the first what we travel with him, and the first he always have this bag full of this optic and cameras and etc. And he make a photo. And when we travel with him, I just push him to the space. Moldova is not so far from Ukraine, but difference exists still. And he said, Sergei, I'm a documentarist. I can look to the, any blue eyes, and it's not a problem for me. But he said, it's difficult for me to look to the people because they are so open, and I don't know how to shoot them. First impression was like that. Because you can see everything inside. This is, this is a cultural thing. Because here, or in Germany where I live, people are close. They imitate something else. They are just different education. So, and different signal, and the body sent you different signals. You didn't understand that, and this is why I need this person who understands that. So, but after a few weeks, he can shoot. We shot, many things which will be very open. Yes, or was, and when I come back to the episode with the table with two guys and discussion about nothing, yes, about car, and when we rehearse, we did rehearse before, everything is okay, I understand, the actors is good, they are sitting, and I invite cameraman, yes, Oleg. And he have, of course, here a camera, just time from time we make a video, just to test how it will be, and also with me, even on the preparation, editor. and we already make it, and we have like different kind of solution how to shoot. So, and he first he looked to the scene and just observed that, and after that say, okay, Sergei, this is a very static scene. You have to create something. You know, they have to move somehow. At least one person have to move. You know, because it's difficult for me even switch angle, and I would like to just to describe it. And otherwise we put camera here, here, and here. So, and I said, okay. And after that, you know, I remember the story of somebody who was in that situation. And I thinking about that, but the table was full of the phone. Yes? And keys, and portemonnaie, and computers, and everything what they stole. And I said, okay, I know what to do. And the phone must ring. This is a director's decision, you know. But cameraman pushed me. It was not first time when he pushed. He said that let's make it more interesting than it is. Because it's, okay, they are interesting, but this is a 10 minutes or 8 minutes episode. And finally, you know, the phone started ringing. It helped me because this guy, more ignorant about that other guy, you know, and it switched somehow attention also. So, and it was really good. And he
really makes the whole scene.
Yeah, it makes whole scene, yes. But, you know, people are lazy, and I'm not exclusion. And somebody have to push, and it's not first time when he proposed something and say, okay, you have to work.
So
yeah, you have to create.
That's why he didn't use the character on every one of your features.
Yeah. He can't shoot documentary, you know, because he can't wait. And he have to be a king. You know, the difference between documentary and fiction. You know, what Hitchcock said. Yeah, that's very simple. In fiction, this in documentary, in fiction, or in documentary, the director is God. In documentary, the God is director. You know, this is very simple, but something inside this sentence exists.
Do you have the same editor?
Yeah, I have same editor. He's faster than his shadow, and yes, think fast.
How did you discover him?
If you know the Šarūnas Bartas, it's a Lithuanian director, and I work on his studio since I started in 2005. 2004 I was there, and my editor, his name Danielius, he worked there. And finally, because I edit all my films myself. I did it myself, I love to edit, and etc. Now I'm lazy. Because with a fiction, with a documentary it's simple, but with a fiction you have plenty of footage, and you have to just make a classification, choosing, connecting with sound, etc., etc. So, and he started to work with me, and after that he occupied the documentary area, and now we work together. And this year we made 3 films, and like 2 years we work all the time together. So now pause.
Okay. Questions from the folks?
I'm James Overlider. I'm really enamored by the structure of this movie, and that there are scenes placed in a particular order, and what comes comes later is informed by what's come before, but in ways that I can't really understand, which is great. I'm curious, when you were ordering these scenes, did you think of them in terms of like a rising and falling narrative structure? Did you think of them more like a collection of poems that, you know, to get a feeling? Like, how did you go about ordering?
Yeah, but every scene have meaning. Yes, and the first is the introduction. Explosion, introduction. The second scene, the meaning, it is disrespect to power. Not to person who represent power, the man. To put shit on the head, it is a jest. And from that, all collapse start. When you disrespect your power and people who are in the power, and it was when was the Ukraine revolution, the first, how to say, one of the reasons why people start to fight wasn't like rejecting to of the former president, rejecting to step in European society. The reason was when the police beat in the center of the Kiev students, and they beating them in very brutal way, which never happened in Ukraine. You can do it in Russia. Yes, but not in Ukraine. And to the blood, they beat very strong. And next day, 1 million came to the street. 1 million is serious. It's Kiev is 5 million people. Every fifth person came to the street, and they occupied. They start this protest. And first, what they asked from president, just to discover this case and punish the person who made this order. And president answered that I didn't care about that. If you didn't care about that, you are not our president. You are a piece of shit. And he was kind of puppet in this Maidan everywhere. You can see his representative or image or something, with proposition, go away and go to Siberia, or go to prison, and they represent this kind of president like a clown, like a fool person, idiot, who didn't understand, does not understand what he have to do, and everybody gives him advice. This is a position, right? If they play this market theater, it will be like that. It was like that. So, and this is why I use this first episode. And in the end of that episode, this journalist, she said that if you can't solve this problem, I will do that. If you and your police didn't protect me, I will do that. The war starting when everybody will say, I will do that. I take my gun and will do that, because it's the end of order. Okay. Deputy who have business there and take care about this maternity house, and also this performance. Third episode, if I stay with this deputy, okay, he brings the doctors, because they change, they normally do that. They in the power, they just, if somebody corrupted and people know, and newspaper publishes, they took this there, and I have a fantastic story from the guy who played the role of the photographer. He was in that situation, he just told me this story. He was a fixer for German journalists, and they were in 2015, they crossing road, and they find the Russian troops, and they all was from Yakutia, or Buryat, they all, faces, you cannot make a mistake. They all like one face. And all these guys make a joke and was in good mood, and they said, we are local. You know, everything was just copy-paste on this story, and after that they just bring some clown who represent that he's, for journalists, that he's a chief of that strong army group. So, and after that, I would like to somehow finish that episode with this clown on the high level of his expression. Explosion. Very simple. And after explosion, I just can come to the dark because it's explosion. And what is from dark we can start? This bomb shelter, you know. And one funny episode, one set. One funny, one set. I just make this kind of rhythm in between. I prepare this like beating, mariage, this wedding. Beating, wedding, explosion. Wedding, open you because it's a very, how to say, folklore. Yes, and it is. It's also a reference to. I have the name of the this wife and this man. Yes, the names from Gogol.
Mr. and Mrs. Friday?
Yeah. It's from Gogol. Yes, and he have this piece, theater piece, which named Женитьба, marriage, wedding, you know. And also in film, some references exist to Russian literature, because it's quite a lot in this kind of folklore, in that kind of, and this is how, like when Ukraine army, after this revolution, they start to build, because it was completely destroyed army. No? Can you imagine when the chief of that, the prime minister, Russian passport, the prosecutor, Russian passport, and I can count all of them. They have a Russian passport. It's the same like. So I can speak about that.
We're unfortunately out of time.
I'm sorry, I did. And spend money to just equip them, bring food and a weapon. This is start like that. This unit, this my friend, he pay for that, and they protect that territory. This is like in Middle Age.